I'm Scotty Campbell. I am the culinary ambassador to the amazing lifestyle that is Bertazzoni. So we're going to talk about the steam and the speed oven today and how that, for me, is kind of the pivotal point in the whole Bertazzoni kitchen. The speed oven, and this to me, and I've said this several times, if I only had one oven in my home, literally one way to cook, this would be it. If there isn't anything, any meal that you can cook in a big oven that you can't do in here. You can bake, you can do rack of lamb, we're going to do some salmon here. It is phenomenal. I just love this oven. The features of it really make it special. It's got the turntable that you can spin or make stationary. It comes with this rack, which you can leave in during the microwave. So you don't have to pull this stuff out. You can actually leave it in. So it's got a microwave, a convection mode, and a broil mode. We're going to go through each one of those. It's very simple to work. So you got microwave right here. And I can add time to it. Very simple, but just a simple turn it on. It'll go to a minute and start up like that. Just hit OK. This is going at 1,000 watts. But if I want to, the reason it flashes is that I can hit the minus arrow while it's flashing and take it down in increments of 200 watts, down to 200 watts, which is phenomenal. But the reason it's been much maligned as far as cooking, especially proteins, is that we use it on full blast all the time. But once you start backing this off, what it does to proteins, how it's reverent, and a lot of times I'll roast a chicken in here on convection microwave. So I get that nice browning. It develops the meat with that 200 watt pulse of microwave. Make sure the thigh joints are done. And in 44 minutes, the potatoes are cooked and roasted. The carrots around it are done. The chicken is fully done. And then for a minute or two, I'll turn on the broiler and just push up the skin. It's just amazing. Dinner for 4. When you have conversations with people about remodel, this becomes the replacement piece to the microwave. It's important you mention this is 220, and in most cases your microwave's 110. Convection is very quick. That's the size of the cavity is solely predicated on what can we cook quickly and get the temperature evenly as quick as possible. And that was the cavity, and that's the purpose of the 220. That oven back there, so there's no preheat in any of the cooking that you're going to be doing with this. I rarely preheat it. It's okay if you put stuff in hot, but cold is just fine. Rack of lamb, 12 minutes. We're going to be cooking salmon here in just a few minutes, and you'll see how quickly it cooks up. The broiler is not to be trifled with. This thing works. So at home, and I was saying earlier, I love the chopsticks. You know, the big 8-ounce chopsticks. We pull them out. If they're fresh, I put 2 of them here. I put it on broil for 10 minutes. Turn it after 5. And on this shelf right here, I get that great Pittsburgh finish, that nice crunch, but it's still a perfect medium rare in the middle. Sometimes we don't have time to thaw, or my wife likes hers medium well. So then we combine the broil with the microwave, and right here, broil and microwave. We just turn it down here, and I'll turn it down to 400 watts. And in 10 minutes, I get that same Pittsburgh on the steak, but now it's defrosted the middle to a perfect medium rare. Or if I'm cooking with, refrigerator fresh product, it'll take it to a medium well. So you have a lot of flexibility. And when you start putting these mediums in concert with each other, you get a quantum effect of which each of them would do in your own home. I see in a lot of homes right now where the double oven is being replaced by side-by-side singles. And this is your golden opportunity. This is your conversation. Because if you took this oven and this oven, put it side-by-side with the warming drawer below, and we're going to talk why that's such a great idea, you've got a perfect marriage. You've got a perfect cooking ensemble. But if you just microwave fettuccine alfredo or a steak or potatoes, the middle blows up, the outside is kind of mealy, and the sauces disintegrate. But if you integrate light pulses of microwave and the convection and a little bit of a broil, you get that complete meal experience without overcooking the steak, without breaking the sauces in about 6 minutes. It's very impressive how that works. Yeah, one of the things that I cannot encourage more. Don't leave this in the kitchen. This is your go-to guide throughout the entire house. This is the cooking medium in the pool room. This is the entertainment center, little snack bar, the mother-in-law suite. This belongs everywhere. If you've looked at the interface on there, you've got microwave, you've got convection, you broil, and then the combinations of those. You have 2 icons that represent defrost, so a little drop of water, 1 by weight, 1 by time, and then 3 chef hats. And people go, well, I don't get the chef hats, chef assist. And it is amazing. Chef 1, your first chef, anything that's been cooked before. There are 5 tiers to that level. So I hit 1, I go up to tier 2 or A2, put my plate of food in there, and it's brought back perfect. A1 is a cup of soup. A5 is for a couple of chicken breasts with a nice curry sauce over it and a few vegetables, non-cooking vegetables. The second hat is specifically for things that have not been cooked yet. So B1 is for a blanch on asparagus or something like that. Just a quick, let's get things going, but it's not a completed meal. Up to a B3, B5, it'll even ask you, how much have you cooked? The second option is, and on B5, it goes up to 72 ounces. Oh, on the defrost it does. It goes up to 36 ounces on here. But it gauges how much cooking time. It figures out the cooking time. Chef hat number 3. The third hat is for anything that is frozen and you want to put on your plate. A frozen pizza, a Hot Pocket, whatever. Take it out. It'll defrost it first and then heat it so the middle is not frozen and the outside is still nice and crunchy. Cooked all the way through. Automatic. If you have this live in your showroom, and you should, if you don't have another piece in there, show this off. This is the everything, all the time, great oven. These are rated for under counter. And I love it because the door drops down. In an under counter format, I have the ability to transition the pan to the door, let it cool if it's a little warmer than I thought it would be, or I need to get something ready up on top of the counter and then up. This is an amazing under counter accessory. Let's talk about steam. Because there is a little bit more to this, but for that little extra commitment, you get some phenomenal results. The water reservoir is right here. Now, when you first get your Bertazzoni, you're going to put 4 cups or about a liter of water in here. And every time you refill it, you're going to take it up to the same level. But if you get a signal halfway through the cooking cycle, and I just made yogurt, I steamed it for 9 hours, and it was awesome. But I had to refill a couple of times. When you refill, it's important you only put 2 cups of water in here. Keeping in mind, there's another 2 cups in the boiler. And if you fill this back up halfway through and let it go, as it pumps out that water, and it does that at the end, you'll see pump in just a minute. It'll pump out that water back into here, it'll overfill. So halfway is good, fill it frequently, use it often. The cool thing about it is whatever cooking cycle it's on, it will stay in place while I pop the door and refill this reservoir. If it doesn't go in all the way, you're going to get RES, reservoir. And the reason it's flashing pump now, I've been using it to cook your appetizers. This pump will flash until the boiler temperature, the water in the boiler, gets down to 167 degrees. and then it pumps it back into the reservoir. And it'll go from pump to EMP, empty. It's suggested in the manual that you empty it after every use. Prevents bacteria, but if I use mine all the time, so I'm not going to do that. If the EMP is bothering you, just hit OK, that'll clear it, and you're more than welcome to use that water. Purely a choice. Now, as somebody who really likes to take care of their equipment, I change my oil religiously. Every 5,000 miles, I use synthetic, things like that. People are tempted to use distilled water, RO water, in here because it'll keep the system cleaner. That's just the opposite of what you want to do. RO has no minerals, the distilled has no minerals. Those minerals are a very big important part in the calibration of the steaming and the boiler itself. So you're really not elongating the lifestyle, you're just altering the cooking parameters insignificantly. So use regular tap water, nothing fancy. When it comes up time, it'll tell you, hey, I need to be clean. I need to be decalcified. And the cool thing about it is, that always happens halfway through Thanksgiving dinner. So it will continue to operate. If you hit OK, I get it, it will continue to operate for another 20, 25 cycles. And then it's going to go, no, really, dude, it's time. For that, you're simply going to switch it over to the clean. And there's a process. There's a cleaner that you just pour into the reservoir, flushes the reservoir, pumps it back, you flush it again, it's done. It's about a 20-minute process. The cooking properties on this are what makes it so special. Everybody talks about steam cooking as being more reverent to the vitamins and the nutrients, and it is. When cooking rice or boiling vegetables, about 70% of the nutrition of those vegetables, that rice, that starch, is lost in the water that you boil it in. By steaming it, you're conserving the nutrition, and it is palpable. It gives you a cleaner, more authentic flavor of the food that you're cooking. And any commercial bakery you go into, the new cooking medium is right now called the steam combi, which is exactly what this is. When you do it, we do side-by-side baking on this. I'll take cupcake tins and we'll make the exact same batter. We'll put it in at the same temperature and cook them in both ovens. Here, it'll crack. The top gets kind of leathery and crack, like it would in a regular convection oven. Here, it's this wonderful dome effect. It steams the top, seals it, and instead of just getting a big crack and allowing that flavor to go, that moisture is encapsulated within the baked item, and those cupcakes will mushroom up out of the pan by a good quarter of an inch. And you know immediately from the look of it, wow, this is going to be really good. I use this, I love this, this is my baking medium. And it does it better than anything. It really is. I can do 2 layers in it as well. You have, it comes with it, a rack for broiling, perforated pan, and a solid pan. And this is important. So anything that you're steaming, like I'll blanch the asparagus. When I bring the asparagus home from the grocery store, first thing I do is I blanch them. Just shock them in some cold water, put them in a Tupperware case. They're bright green, they're still al dente. They have a nice crisp to it. Their shelf life has now been doubled, but more importantly, the usability of this is doubled. I can take them straight out of the refrigerator, and because they're blanched, I can put them into a salad. I can cut them lengthwise into a sandwich. Or I can add them to a sauce or a roast as a condiment. And they're very user-friendly. So this broccoli, anything greens that you can get out there, is Cornish game hen. I don't know if you've had them lately. They run about $4.50 to $5 a bird. Half a bird is a perfect portion. It's got great white meat, dark meat. It's very inexpensive. I'll split them in half, put them here. I'll season them up. And then on this pan below goes my sweet potatoes, my carrots, broccoli, and everything. This pan goes below this pan. And as it roasts, the broth, the rendering from burn, baste the vegetables. You're licking your lips right now, so it really works. So the concert, the communication of the food in there is phenomenal. Really, really great. And with a real broiler, not this warm light that comes from the top of the real broiler, at the very end of the cooking cycle, again, I turn the broiler on for 2 minutes and I get that super crisp skin that you would never get in a regular steamer. One of the coolest things and features about this, and it's still cooling off, so when I turn on steam, it'll flash, I have the ability to go plus or minus. Now to start at 210, that's the preset, and that is the temperature of steam. So why would I want to cook with temperatures less than 210? Anybody?
Proof defrost.
Proof defrost. Poach.
Oh.
Poach. So one of the second settings is 170 degrees. And when you're dealing with fish, especially something with beautiful butterfly finish of a fillet of sole or something like that, that's where the 170 really comes into play. Because now I can put it on broil, steam, I can poach at 170 and get a nice little pitch bird on the top, and it's done.